Indiana Jones, It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. The Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the podcast where we discuss the film Indiana Jones and the Next Man 1 minute at a time. I'm Tom Taylor.
I'm Pete Mummert.
I'm Joe Christopher St. Magnus of Avignon. See how I said that? Avignon.
See, what were we just talking about
Border.
here?
Beautifully natural,
Avignon. Avignon. Magnus of St. Magnus of Avignon, who, by the way, was the patron saint of fish dealers and fishmongers.
Oh. Wait, what's the difference between a fishmonger and a fish dealer?
Yeah.
I actually don't know.
I have no idea, and I looked it up, and I still don't know. A fishmonger
Has a
is,
steel structure.
with a gaseous envelope. It's a person or store that sells fish or food. A fishmonger. Or actually, it's also a fishwife.
All right. What?
A fishmonger, fishwife for female practitioners.
Oh.
Wife, in this case, used in its archaic meaning of woman. A
Who would
fishwife.
marry a fish?
Get a little suspicious of what you're looking up there on Google.
Well, it's appropriate because remember we had the patron saint of unhappily married men.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you get a, maybe if you marry a fishwife. Anyway, Porter.
And I'm Evan Jacover. Hi, I'm a special guest today. And
Hooray!
Hey.
It's good to have you back, Evan.
thanks.
Awesome.
Back on the Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Yep.
We still haven't gotten off the ground.
No. That's true. I wonder if we ever will.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like one guy going out a window. Let's talk about that because in minute 74 begins with Indy tossing Vogel out the window. There, I said Vogel. I'm just going to go with Vogel. Tossing Vogel out the window, and it ends with Henry explaining his fling with Elsa as ships passing in the night.
I have never understood why Vogel falls on a pile of suitcases. Why suitcases? Is it to show that, he had a soft landing so he's not dead? Like, this isn't his demise.
Right, but if he just landed on like the grass, like on his back or something, would
Yeah.
be, oh no, he's going to have to go to the hospital, or he could be dead, or like, I feel like in this kind of a movie you can land hard and bad and still be okay.
Yeah,
As long as he gets up.
But what are all the suitcases doing there anyway? Like, did the steward that Indy befriended forget to load them?
That was
maybe.
his job, but he's knocked out in a corner somewhere now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. He stole
Maybe
the
that
jacket
is
with the
it.
key to the luggage hatch. Yeah.
Well, what's interesting is a minute or two ago, when we first see the Zeppelin, you do see the guy driving up with all the suitcases.
Oh,
right?
yeah. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, you do see the guy. He's like approaching, the Zeppelin there. So I don't know. They kind of set it up. It's just it's like Vogel falls in a pile
Yeah.
of suitcases.
Yeah.
Like they're completely unorganized, or they're just sitting there.
It's very un-German-like that they're all just kind of haphazardly strewn around.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I didn't want to be the one to say it.
It doesn't make any sense that they're there, but man, someone falling into a pile of suitcases is great cinema.
Yeah.
It plays. For whatever
Yeah.
reason, it works.
It works.
I'll say this, it's memorable.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah.
It looks like fun.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was like the prototype to all those, like the McDonald Playland ball rooms.
Yeah.
What if instead of hard leather boxes,
Yeah,
we replace this with soft plastic balls?
Yeah. Filled with
exactly.
people's unmentionables.
Vogel just jumps into the suitcase and starts throwing them up.
We can't find me.
Again.
Where did Vogel go?
It's time to go, Vogel. Come on.
I guess it's to show you. It's like, okay, well, he got one, but it didn't kill him.
Right.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
been humiliated
Yeah.
by
Right,
Indiana Jones.
And here, Henry Sr. has a smile of joy for Indy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why on this one?
Right. That's exactly what I
That's
had written.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. And I thought, well, I guess like jousting.
like
This
the
might
jousting.
fall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we like the jousting. This might fall under the category of medieval mischief. Like you might throw somebody over a parapet,
Yeah.
I don't know.
and they're like off the
Yeah.
castle
No, I
wall.
like Well, and Henry's been very amiable ever since Indy did the jousting with the lance. So I think like that's when in Henry's mind that Junior joined the Crusade, and now Junior's his buddy.
Yeah, but then right after that, he was distasteful of the
that's
the
true. He
breaking
looked at his
away,
watch.
sticking the bike thing.
That's true.
With the last motorcycle
Yeah.
guy.
That's true.
But this is
Yeah.
kind of the turning point in their adventure, right? Now they're teammates. Like there's no
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
after this point there isn't a lot of bickering over whether or not they're in this together.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
like
Yeah, that
later in
is.
this minute, he's like, "Hey, I'm sharing your adventures. This is fun."
Yeah.
Maybe he's just starting to see his son as a. I always wanted you to be an adventurer. I'm so proud you. You finally became a good adventurer. That's my boy.
And what is a few minutes later? I know this is kind of a faux pas. He actually, makes some mischief himself.
Yeah.
Or I think the
Yeah.
first
Oh, yeah.
time,
He gets into it.
intentionally at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, do you think it's because in this minute they actually bring up or face the Elsa in the room? It's like is that what it was?
Yeah.
It's like
Maybe.
was Henry Sr. sort of holding a grudge, and that's why he was like, nah, So you killed a Nazi on a motorcycle. Yeah.
I think it's interesting
Yeah.
though that Indy can't let that die. Like he brings it up over and over and over.
Yeah, if I were with my dad, I would never bring that up.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'd come up
Yeah.
with new conversation topics every half hour.
Yeah.
Make sure I never got back around to that.
Maybe they just they finally popped the tension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this Elsa Zeppelin.
Right.
They finally.
You know what this is? This is Indy and Marion on the Bantu Wind. Like they got a little quiet time for a second, and they're not making out with each other, but chatting it up and like having like a moment
Yeah.
and like,
Yeah.
you really did have sex with that girl, didn't you? And so did I. Oh, gosh, that's weird. Man, should we talk about this? Shame on you.
Well, before we get too far ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
I think I know, Tom, you're on the record as not necessarily liking this. I think this is one of the best lines in the movie, and I think it's a wonderful, beautiful scene.
Am I on the record as not liking No Ticket?
Yeah, I think you said you didn't like No Ticket.
That sounds
Or maybe,
like
no,
me.
maybe it's Gerry. Maybe Gerry. One of you has said you didn't like No Ticket.
Well, whoever said it is ridiculous.
I have here that I like No Ticket.
Okay. Oh, good.
Oh, really? I was going to say that's not surprising. If one of us said we like No Ticket or don't like No Ticket.
Well, I do have a critique. I mean, I like No Ticket.
Mm-hmm.
I like everyone's looking at him and he goes No Ticket. I like that. I kind of wish that they cut right there to the next scene, like right there. And that I think the people going for their tickets. Oh no, I don't want him to throw me out of the plane into a bunch of luggage down there. I think that's that takes it a little too far.
Like the little
Yeah.
lady's like, no, here's my ticket.
What if he was about to threaten her? Like grabs her by the lapels of her
It's
coat.
hilarious.
Yeah, next
Yeah.
lady.
I take the opposite approach. I think this scene should go on for another 5 minutes of him just throwing people out.
If he
Don't
actually went
actually
through
have
with it, that'd be
tickets.
incredible.
Yeah.
And I love that it like, he doubles down too, because you even get the Vogel fist shake when the Zeppelin's flying away. Like, you get
Yeah.
the, why you?
Oh
Get
my
you, Indiana
God.
Jones.
And he actually says, "You'll hear from me again."
Oh,
my
no,
gosh.
he doesn't. Does he really?
Yeah, I mean,
Does he really say you'll hear from me again?
yeah, he literally says that. It's like, this isn't the last you'll hear from me.
Oh boy.
Oh,
And your little dog too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember I said this whole thing's like a little weird vignette? That's what it is. I mean, okay, look. I went on record probably saying I don't like
Yeah,
it.
I think it was you. I'm sorry for demeaning you.
You know what? I'm
real.
sure it was.
Look out.
I'm sure. I'm just going to say, listen, there's 127 minutes to this movie?
Uh-huh.
This minute is not one of my favorite minutes. Here.
Interesting.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah. And everybody can hold their tomatoes and all the, rotten pears and the whole.
And your potatoes.
This is. I'm not a big fan of powder puff Indiana Jones.
He just punched a guy in the face and threw him out a window.
That is true. I don't know.
I don't have a
He
problem
just
with
threatened
that.
an old lady.
Yeah. I don't think Indiana Jones powder puffy here at all. I think some of the stuff around him
It's just by powder puff. I just mean like it's just the gags and just slapsticky gags. That's all. Not it's not. I don't mean like Indiana Jones didn't punch the guy. It's just it's just like kind of I don't know. It's just like Three Stooges vaudeville stuff. In my Indiana Jones. That's all. I'm not saying I don't like vaudeville or that or the Three Stooges. I love the Three Stooges. It's just mixed with Indiana Jones. I get a little confused.
In my day, Indiana Jones was never fun.
Yeah.
No, but that's it. I know. You know what? I
Gunned
know
a man
this
down
is
in the
actually
streets.
a lot of. This is a lot of people's one of their favorite scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Well, it's when Vogel shakes his fist at the blimp, at the Zeppelin, pardon me. This is the one scene, as many times as I've seen this movie, that always makes me cringe.
Yeah.
Because not only is
There's
it
not much to love there.
Yeah.
ridiculous and pointless, it's just like this was at a time where they could have done better on this effect.
Right. Although I don't know. I remember sitting in the theater with a lot of shots like this one in this movie and like the planes later on and stuff. There's a lot of shots where like, boy, that really looks crummy. Oh my gosh. But like, and Star Wars looks so good and Empire Strikes Back looks so good and but yeah, you're like, wow, these guys are the cream of the crop. This is industrial light and magic. They should be doing awesome. But maybe I think I said before, I think blue sky stuff with this blue screen stuff
Yeah.
was hard to pull off, I guess. But it does look so, just choppy and weird and fakey. And he's not even like looking the right way totally. He's like looking at some guy off to the side, and that's rough.
You know what's hilarious is like that stuff never bothers me.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I don't notice it, and it never bothers me. What bothers me is you'll hear from me again. That's kind of
I never knew what he was saying, and that makes the scene
just
me neither.
really terrible.
Yeah. Well, look. Toht holds his hand up, and his entire hand is burned.
Yeah.
And he's thrilled.
Yeah, he's there to do some
He's
work.
like, look, I got it. Yeah. Now,
a man, a few words, Heil Hitler.
Yeah, he holds his hand up, and you're like, he says nothing. You're like, that's dark and great.
Yeah.
And here we have kind of, I guess this is sort of a Toht-like guy, kind of, and he's, I'll get you, Jones, still.
It's like they knew it was a stupid shot, and they made him say something even really stupider.
A little bit, yeah.
I'll get you, Indiana Jones.
I'll
one's
say
gonna look
this.
it up.
I'm starting to
Speaks
kind
German,
of
it's
just.
fine.
I get this. Like that's just sort of the timbre of the film, and now we're over halfway through, and you're like, oh yeah. This is just the color of the movie.
Well, I think I still I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but I still feel like that's part of the magic of the movie. Is all three movies are completely different movies. Like they're all different, almost different genres of movie.
Oh yeah.
And this one is the kind of the comedic romp, but at the same time, it's like it really is a 30s serial. It's very, true to its source material, and it's fun from beginning to end. And I think that makes it cool that they went another direction again. Like they're like, we're going to keep experimenting. We're going to keep trying to do new things with this. We're not going to make the same movie.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like Pete Mummert is Donovan? Just what the doctor ordered.
Dig her up for Grandma's bony finger.
Well,
I'd rather be Roscoe. At least let me be Roscoe, Jer.
Yeah.
At least
Roscoe.
it's like,
I
might.
don't want to be a Nazi.
Yeah, well, it might be raining today, but that just makes me thankful for the sun.
Yeah. Oh my God. With a glass of water on the side for dipping.
Yeah, he's just walk down the street whistling everything. Hello, little bird. Well, actually, you bring up a good point there, Pete. A great point, and I agree with you on that. But about the movies all having a different color and going different directions and different treatments. What do you think this sort of scene would look like in Temple of Doom?
You'd have Willie screaming. You'd have like a kid being tortured in the corner.
Yeah.
You'd have,
Get rid of a machine gun
Yeah.
to death and then thrown out.
yeah, you would. You'd have Pat Roach would be in there torturing somebody in the back, and
Yeah.
There'd be like a monkey crushing somebody with a steamroller.
Is the consensus that this is a sillier movie than Temple of Doom? Is that? I would never see it that way. I think I see this movie through like these rose-colored glasses that are.
Yeah.
I
don't think it's sillier. It's not sillier than Temple of Doom. I guess it's more conservatively lighthearted.
Yeah. It's more family fun. That's not exactly right, but
No, I think that's fair. Yeah.
No, it's got some pretty extreme violence. But yeah, it is less. It's a lot less gritty and dark than Raiders or Temple of Doom.
yeah, here's a little microcosm. Like I was kind of saying this before. If the no ticket moment had ended literally with no ticket, that would almost fit in Raiders. Gerry does not agree with me, but I kind of think
it's funny. I do agree with you.
Okay.
And when you said that, I said, you know what? Yes,
Yeah.
that would have worked. I don't know why.
But the
I don't
people
know
waving
why
the
that-
tickets and
yeah.
panicking right after that kind of makes it okay. That's not Raiders. This is something else. This is the Last Crusade now, I guess, which is fine. Which is good.
Good distinction.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're right, though. I like that, Tommy. That would have been more in line with like a Raiders edit.
It's like a smart aleck thing for Indiana Jones to say,
Sure.
and it's cool.
Yeah.
I don't think it
Kind
would
of
have fit
endearing.
this movie though. It wouldn't have fit this movie though.
I don't know. I think it still would have been fun. I think the audience would have dug it. I don't think you would miss it makes it a different joke to have everybody panicking and thinking that they're about to get chucked out of the window. It kind of doesn't make sense.
I
It's
can't
like,
stop laughing at the old lady who's like,
I know, that is funny. That's just that's just
true.
funny.
My favorite thing about her is just her pause where like, wow, oh my, what should I? Okay, I'll get my ticket out.
Yeah. Do I want to get
What
chucked
am I
out the
gonna
window?
do? How do I
You just see her imagining all the different scenarios in her head.
Yeah,
where
right.
she's-
Right.
There is one scene in Raiders that's really, really crazy, and I always forget about it because I say it's super gritty and dark. But when Toht originally burns his hand on the medallion, originally he runs out into the snow, and it's like right out of Benny Hill.
It is.
It kind of makes no sense at all. He's like, ooh, ooh, ooh,
Yeah.
ooh, ooh. It's like
It's like
really weird.
Daffy
and-
Duck hopping around. Like,
It is like Daffy Duck.
Yeah, Pete, you always reference the frying pan, like Marion clobbering the guy with
Yeah.
the frying pan with the bong. But yeah, no, the Toht in the snow.
I
if
forgot
anybody
all
wants to
about that.
call us out for thinking the Raiders is perfect
Yes.
or something.
I'm calling myself out on that right now, right here, this day.
I'm calling myself
I talk
out for
like
not
yeah.
saying how much I love that when we watched it. Because I don't think I like that much. That's funny.
You know what I think's really going on in this? Now that I've watched this scene a few times, with this filler of the people waving their tickets and then Vogel, waving his hand, is you kind of have to like buy some time to disconnect people from Indiana Jones and his little white coat, and then somehow he takes that coat off. He goes and sits down with his father.
Yeah.
They start having
Yeah.
this conversation in the same room where all of this happened. The same stewards are there. The piano player's watching.
I guess he's off duty.
And you have to disconnect those two scenes for them to actually work together.
That's actually
Well,
really
Wow.
true.
That's an
Yeah.
excellent point. And I've been teasing a deleted scene, and we're still not quite there yet. But I'll give the beginning, but I don't want to give the denouement. That sound good?
I hate you, P. Newman.
I don't want to, I won't tell the punchline of the deleted scene, but that World War I flying ace that we saw in the airport is intercut with Indy and his dad throughout this scene, going around to all the passengers and telling them how great of a flying ace he was. And I think like boring everybody with his, stories of his prowess as a World War I fighter pilot. So I think they would have cut back and forth between that and Indy and his dad. And that might have worked if they just had no ticket and they could cut to that guy.
Is that guy one of the reasons that there's a plane hanging from the Zeppelin?
Well, there were going to be 2 planes hanging from the Zeppelin, but
yeah, okay, all right.
Oh, really?
But there were never planes hanging from the Zeppelin, but there were 2 American dirigibles that had planes, and there was one that even was a whole like aircraft carrier. Like there were 5 or 6 planes inside of it,
Wow.
and it would launch them, and
Really?
they would like take off, and then they'd come back and attach to a tether underneath. It was like an aircraft carrier, but a flying one.
Like
Back in the
heels.
30s.
So cool.
Yeah.
Man, we really blew it with these Zeppelins.
Yeah.
Dirigibles.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Some alternate universe. Man,
Yeah.
yeah.
everything's
exactly.
awesome.
Yeah. And they seem to, like we've been talking about, are they going to the U.S. or are they going to South America? Because they seem to be flying over the Alps now. So they've come quite a ways from Berlin, and they've moved to a different table. Like they're up by the piano, by Evan's piano now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And did they hang out in the cabin for a while? Or if they've been talking to other passengers, or have they just been sitting? Did they move because they didn't want to be by the window anymore?
They figured if they weren't sitting by the table anymore, nobody would recognize them as the guys who just chucked the dude out the window.
Wait a minute, I'm looking at it right now. Wait, so yeah, he's back to the Indiana Jones tie and the whole Indy outfit.
I don't think he ever took off the shirt and tie and stuff.
Yeah, he had
Is
that-
that okay?
yeah, he had the brown
okay,
shirt on
he just
under
had
the-
that on.
yeah.
Yeah. And I will just say there is a beautiful floral display behind them. Once again,
You're into the
It's
flowers.
true.
Yeah.
yeah, they mean something.
George O'Keefe going on over here. One thing I always find funny is apparently when they were filming this, both Sean Connery and Harrison Ford were wearing shorts because it was so hot on this set that they didn't want to sweat
my
too
God.
much, and so they're both sitting there the whole time. Like if you picture it, they're wearing like short shorts.
Oh wow.
Oh, it's funny. It's like finding out Peter Cushing is wearing like fuzzy slippers
Yeah,
all the time in Star Wars. I love this scene. This beginning of this scene. These 2 guys sitting here chatting. I love this breezy, having a nice time Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Like how often do you see that? Like
Yeah.
literally in
Yeah.
movies. How often do you see this kind of Sean Connery?
Yeah.
It's true.
Like I love him as James Bond, obviously, but that's like compared to this, it's such a like a sort of posed kind of tough guy, not tough guy exactly, but just like kind of posturing, kind of cool dude, like with very little emotion behind it or something. And this is just just a guy having a nice time.
Yeah.
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 Like I'm happy for Sean Connery that he's having fun, not even just Henry Jones.
Yeah, I mean, again, these guys, Harrison Ford, Sean Connery, are just fantastic.
Yeah.
They're fantastic together. They're fantastic in this scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The banter's
Yeah.
great. The dialogue's great.
They have such good chemistry in this movie. It's. I mean, I think I talked about when we were discussing Temple of Doom how like the sidekick makes the movie to me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Marion is so great in the first one, and Henry's so great in this movie. That's why they're my favorite ones.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this dialogue here, it seems like Indy almost comes to a huge realization about himself, but then kind of backs away from it. When, Henry says, sharing your adventures is an interesting experience. And then Indy says, that's not all we shared. It's disgraceful. You're old enough to be her grandfather. But like it's disgraceful
Yeah.
for him to be old enough to be your father, but then Indy is old enough to be your father. It's like he almost went there and he kind of backed slowly away.
Yeah. He's not quite old enough to be your father, though.
Yeah,
is
that
he?
seemed like a stretch to me.
He's maybe like
He's in his
15 years older than her or something?
No, he's 47 and she's, I mean, he's not 47 in the movie, but he's 47 in real life and she's 21.
Yeah. But no, in the movie he's like 37 or something.
He's like
isn't
38.
he?
Yeah. She's probably 25.
Well, what's interesting is that makes me rethink this whole Marion thing. Like, is this a genetic thing that they just go for? They just rob the cradle?
Yeah.
I learned it from you, Dad.
You know.
I learned it from watching you.
Well, Henry Sr. is, I mean, who knows what he is, 70 or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, 65, 70, and she's 21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, he's kind of always didn't Sean Connery insist on besting Indy?
Yeah.
Besting Harrison Ford in every adventure. Or
I don't care how gross it is.
Yeah. Which, you know, what's interesting, you guys talked about that, but did he insist on that, like, after he took on the role, like, and signed the contract?
Sort of sounds like it for most of the stories,
Yeah.
I almost wonder, it's like, would they have reconsidered Sean Connery if he had not, if they had known that he's going to like, oh, whatever Indy does, I'm going to do better.
Yeah. That's gross, Sean Connery. I don't think we should do that.
I also don't think it would have worked as well if he hadn't. Like, I think that's half of the charm of the movie is him doing that. Like, I feel like the relationship's so much more complex that way.
I will say, though, that it always struck me as a little... It's a little hard for me to reconcile Henry Jones, professor dude who sleeps with this 20-something-year-old woman who then his son has sex with too. And then, like, just the, bookworm, bucket hat wearing, doddering dude. Like, that aspect of his personality seems totally kind of out of left field. It almost seems like it was made up on the set or something by Sean Connery.
Yeah.
He's having a hard time not being the main star of the movie.
It made me think that Elsa was the instigator of this whole affair. Like, it wouldn't
if you
have been
think
Henry.
she is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, Henry wouldn't initiate anything. I kind of had the same thought.
Although, if you do think that it's her,
Then
that kind of works. Sense. Like, he's just like, no wonder he's giddy as a schoolboy. Like, oh my gosh, this beautiful young lady wanted to have sex with me. This is fantastic. I just had a great adventure. And now I'm sharing your adventure.
I'm going to get way into pagan symbols.
Can I bring my book with?
But the way he reacts to it makes it sound like he does this like every week.
That's true. Yeah.
Like, he's nonchalant about it.
Yeah.
Like he's Like he's the teacher that some students apparently do want to get.
Yeah, really. Jeez Louise.
He's all ships passing in the night, but he's in the shipping lane. That's me. I live right in that shipping lane.
He's that catapult ship.
Nothing but tugboats. Hey-o. Sorry.
Well, what's interesting, though, is, this line.
Pete liked it.
This line, he says, sharing your adventures is an interesting experience. But who's to say who's sharing whose adventure?
That's kind of true. Yeah. We've been saying that Indy's just kind of like along for the ride on this one a little bit.
Yeah, and Henry had sex with Elsa first.
Mm-hmm.
And then now Indy's kind of... I guess he's there to save him, but he's, they're still going to get basically his dad's Grail diary and his dad's, Grail, the obsession, trying to quench that. So, I don't know. It's like, it's interesting. Maybe Indy's on Henry's adventure.
Can this be read, though, as Henry being condescending? Like that Henry has his adventures where he thinks things go much more smoothly? And so then it's like, when you're along on the adventures, when I'm sharing your adventures, it's interesting.
Yeah, so you mean like sort of a,
right.
It's a euphemism.
Yeah, he's kind of jabbing Indy a little bit with it.
This is a really nice adventure you have, son. It's
Yeah.
really good. You should be really proud. You're my number one adventurer.
I love that. I love that Henry Sr. says, "I'm as human as the next man," while these guys are on a quest for the Grail and eternal life.
Yeah, I'm about to be more human than the next man.
Exactly. I'm as human as the next man. Meaning you're like, you're fallible. You're mortal. It's like,
corruptible.
yeah, well, you realize we're, searching for immortality here.
Yeah.
And Indy, like his comeback here is, again, one of the best lines in the movie. when he says, "I was the next man."
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing. Could Indy be a stand-up comedian? Like, is he know he's funny and smart?
Oh yeah.
He likes the way he does things.
Yeah.
What's the deal with mummies?
He's known since his lecturing days at the university. He's known.
Yeah.
He gets up in front of a crowd. He does his thing.
Did you hear what he said about X marks the spot? He
Did
slays
you
me.
just say, what's the deal with mummies? Oh my God.
Stealing all of Willie's best material.
Oh my God. Right? Am I right? Jesus. Who
guy
out there's
knows.
a TA? Hey, actually, do any of you guys know the etymology of ships that pass in the night?
Oh, no.
Oh yeah, it's from
I
a
just assume
Henry...
that's how baby ships are made.
little tugs.
Toot toot.
No, it's from a Henry Wadsworth Longfellow poem,
Oh, wow.
which I shall recite.
Oh.
If you'll let
Nice.
me, at least that little stanza. It's ships that pass in the night and speak each other in passing. Only a signal shown and a distant voice in the darkness. So on the ocean of life we pass. So on the ocean of life we pass and speak.
That's hot.
Yeah. We pass and speak on one another. Only a look and a voice, then darkness again in silence.
I
Yeah,
like it.
that's hot. Oh my God. Well, no, it's interesting. I mean, who would ships that pass in the night? I don't know. Henry Wordsworth.
Well, he's a
Wordsworth
literature
Longfellow.
professor, what a medieval studies professor. He would
Yeah,
have
that's
known
why he
his
says that. I
poets.
love how he says that line.
Yeah.
Too. He kind of throws his hands up like that.
Yeah.
He's saying, please don't bring this up again, son. How do we end it?
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't like talking about my sex life with my son. Let's move on.
What's fascinating is he's completely divorced from it. He's like, doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I mean, look,
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I've been there, done that.
No biggie.
Yeah, he's divorced from any emotion or like, you know,
Yeah.
he's kind of like, yeah, of course, you know.
Yeah.
I've been with pussy galore. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
pass
was
the
with
salt.
Marion, too. I was with Willie.
Ah! Oh, my God. I'm having nightmares.
He does seem completely relaxed all of a sudden, though.
Yeah.
Like, Indy did that relaxing thing when they first got onto the Zeppelin, but now Henry's laughing and...
Yeah. Well, he did say when they were up in the air and with Germany behind them, he'd relax.
Yeah,
And,
that's right.
Yeah.
That's true.
He's true to his word. God
Yeah.
bless him. Was that all for 74?
That's all I got.
Yeah. If only Christy Porter were here, she'd probably have something
Oh,
to say.
speaking of poetry,
What?
there's poetry coming over the wires. This just in from Professor Chrissy Porter. How does Indy interpret ships that pass in the night? Is that more comforting or more offensive?
That's I was kind of wondering
Oh.
the same thing. Like he does.
Yeah.
Like, he's
Thought about
very breezy about the notion. I mean, Henry is, but that almost is a little, I don't know, grosser or weirder that he's not like,
Yeah.
whatever. I had sex with a Nazi, whatever.
I mean, it's kind of a weird use of the phrase. I always thought ships that pass in the night, the two ships are the lovers, which would make
Yeah.
the two Henrys here like these ships that pass in the night. It kind of doesn't make sense.
Like Marcus
The
and
shipping
Sala.
lanes are all messed up.
Well, but what's interesting is we've talked about this extensively. They draw the movie like Indy is in love with
yeah.
Elsa. Like in
Like
love.
head over heels.
Yeah, like he's about to jump out of that Zeppelin and not land on suitcases.
Although now he seems
You know,
totally
he's
over
just
that.
heartbroken.
Yeah.
He seems past that now. Right now
No,
he's kind of like,
exactly.
can you
Yeah.
believe we both had sex with the same
Yeah.
lady?
Yeah.
Weird.
No.
That should be our Christmas
Totally.
card next year.
But that's it's funny because think of all the scenes like 10, 20 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, like with Elsa, looking at him like, oh my God, he's really, he surrenders his machine gun. And,
Oh, yeah, he was
I mean,
ruined.
the whole thing. Yeah, he was ruined.
Well, if they also think how interesting your life must be if you sit down and the first chance you've had to talk to your dad in years and years and years, and the first thing that comes out of your mouth isn't, "Oh my God, I just met Hitler." Like I just stood right next to Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, Hitler just defaced your diary, Dad. Sorry.
That's hilarious. Yeah. You think? I mean, did he tell him that story like during the wipe?
Well, no, because Henry must have, did Henry see it happen, or maybe he didn't. I don't know if he saw it or not.
Well, he was nearby. He was like probably hanging out by the motorcycle.
He's
and
like
stuff.
standing on his tiptoes trying to see over like the tall Aryans.
It looked like Hitler just signed my diary.
And this could be hours later. I mean, they've used up all of their conversation, and Indy's like, "Well, I guess we got to bring this up sometime." You're on a long flight. You cover all the niceties.
Right. I've already exhausted the sex conversation.
You think he's been rehearsing in his head like all day, like, "Dad, this was disgraceful. I can't believe, like, I can't believe you slept with Elsa." Like he just wants to bring it up, but he's not sure how.
How to talk to your parents about sex.
It is a little. I mean, he chastises him harshly.
Yeah,
Disgraceful is a strong word.
yeah,
But it's also like very casual and lighthearted. It's like he's kind of chucking him on the shoulder.
yeah, he
like,
is.
Dad,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
gross.
yeah.
Dad, you're gross.
And I'm gross too.
Yeah. We're the Jones boys. We're
Chip
gross.
off the old Jones block.
Yeah. Shame on us both.
Still better than Nazis.
Right. Nazis got nothing on us.
I mean, I'll say this. You can get away with this because you have Vogel saying, "This isn't the last you'll hear of me."
Yeah.
Like, I when I say, like, what you can get away with, has to do with what else is going on in the movie.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Yeah, so it's like, okay. They both slept with Elsa. It's fine. And here it's kind of lighthearted and ships that pass in the night. And, it's disgraceful, you old gross Benny Hill type. And you're just like, I mean, if you don't have, Vogel shaking his fist is just like, don't take any of this too seriously.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm in a happy monogamous relationship. I'll get you Indiana Jones.
Basically, I want to say the whole movie's landing on suitcases. Sure, that's fine. And I'm throwing the suitcases up in the air. Yay! Whee! That's fine.
You're a Samsonite commercial.
Yeah, you know what? Sharing your adventures, Last Crusade, is an interesting experience.
I love so much all your little passive aggressive. That's fine.
Yeah.
I love it. That's fine. I'm fine with that. Sure. Move on. I'm fine.
Go jerk yourself a soda.
So this stuff doesn't work in the shrink's office.
Is it still your favorite Indiana Jones movie, Evan?
Yes, I don't.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
just like maybe this whole movie is landing on suitcases, but like I said, it works.
Yeah.
For whatever
Totally
reason,
does.
landing on suitcases,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it
Yeah.
every time.
And also, like, we've said this before, but watching a movie and discussing it minute by minute does not do most movies many favors. Like, if you're watching this movie and it's breezing by the way it's supposed to, it's a fun, awesome thing. And even minute by minute it can be. But it also, you see all the waving tickets and all the suitcases and all the, I'll get you next time. And then you have to talk about it for like half an hour. And it starts to sound like you hate the movie, but you don't. And then you get yelled at on Facebook for being too negative.
What's interesting is, for the most part, Raiders is consistent, okay, with the tone of the movie. And for the most part, Last Crusade is consistent with the tone of the movie, right? And so we go, okay, lighthearted, over here gritty. But that's what made Temple of Doom so dizzying.
Yeah.
Is because the silly was way silly and the violent and dark was way dark.
Yeah.
Oh, that was beautiful, Jerry. I like that because it's almost
was
like
very
you're
true.
standing on the edge of a chasm and you're getting dizzy.
Well, it's like you had vertigo because it was so inconsistent.
Yeah,
Hey, you know what's weird? Speaking of Temple of Doom,
Kazim. I mean, but yeah.
I was waiting for that actually. Speaking of Temple of Doom, just as we're talking about it, I in my head, I feel like I'm back to loving that movie again. I think I've gotten far enough away from our minute by minute dissection of it and frustration with it that I'm like, oh, I remember the summer of 1984. That was awesome. And Temple of Doom and everything. That's great. So yeah, there's hope.
That warms me cockles.
Yeah. Well, that's sort of an absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm glad I'm only doing 2 minutes of this because I don't want to hate this movie. I love this movie. I don't want to go a whole year of hating this movie and then have to reconnect with it.
I'll get you, Evan Jacover.
No.
Not in that like minute by minute Minotaur maze, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's what I'm saying. Like, even if you get stuck in that maze, it'll wear off after a while.
Yeah.
And you can get back to liking your movie that you like.
Okay.
I hope if I didn't dislike it, I hope that doesn't mean I'm going to start disliking it.
No, yeah, you will.
Oh man.
Sorry, Pete.
We've gone 74 minutes and don't dislike it yet. I think you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm just going to like 10 years from now, I'm just going to curl up in a ball and be like, I hate Temple of Doom. I hate Last
What was I
Crusade. Those
thinking?
are horrible.
No ticket.
No.
No, Pete, you're fine.
I
Go,
hate
Why does he
I
say it in
hate
English?
go chinchuck a hummingbird.
Yeah. There you go.
You're fine, Pete.
All right. Well, before we all go out to find hummingbirds to chinchuck, Evan, thank you so much for joining us these past couple of minutes.
It's been great.
It has been.
Yeah.
I'm glad we didn't get you to hate your favorite movie.
Yeah. Well,
Because you shouldn't. It's
maybe we'll
good.
get to that in a year or so.
Yeah.
There you go. Your other favorite Indiana Jones movie.
Well, I totally disconnected. You could cut this out. But I went to see John Williams at the Chicago Symphony. He conducted some of his compositions.
Oh,
awesome.
And there were a lot of deep cuts. And, Indiana Jones is kind of the one you expect to hear, like as
Yeah.
the big finale. When they did Star Wars, which was fine. But they did, one of the pieces they played was Mutt's theme. For whatever reason. Of all of the oeuvre of John Williams, they chose
my
Mutt's
God.
theme.
Wow.
And
Wow.
the guy who was kind of emceeing read, it was kind of like giving a little introduction to each piece. And he says, he quotes from Roger Ebert's review. And I'm like, oh, the review must be, the movie's terrible, but the music's amazing. Like he's going to say something like that. But Roger Ebert had this glowing review of Crystal Skulls, which I didn't remember at the time.
Wow.
Or at least there was one glowing quote from it. And that's what they read.
Just said, Team Mutt. Wow. Well,
Anyway, that's my story.
That's a good
John
one.
Williams music, though, A+. They didn't play this song. They didn't play the Zeppelin theme.
no.
The Zeppelin's theme from,
Had to make room for Mutt.
yeah.
Well, before you go, remind the people where they can find the stuff that you're working on and what you've been up to.
You can go to your favorite video game store or online website and buy any of the Jackbox party packs. They're all lots of fun. I worked on those. You can listen to Hello from the Magic Tavern. And you can watch my kids grow up because that's what I spend the most time on.
You're doing a good job on all three of those things.
Thank you.
And everybody else out there, we're going to be back tomorrow with minute 75 of Indiana Jones and I almost said Temple of Doom. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
Bemoans?
What you say?
Get it. No, I'm always bitching.
You
about
haven't heard the
moons.
last of me.
There you go.